you love something, but once you start getting paid for it and it becomes a job, you might not love it.
Am I hating it? And then I like sat with it even more. I'm like, no, I'm just burnt out.
I think about my mom when she was raising me and my brother and my siblings and I growing up and going to school. She was probably fucking
Tired
burnt
did not
out
exist.
times 100. But she needed to put food on the table, pay bills. Tired was a privilege. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Awkward Tea Party. Anyways, it's been a while since we've actually filmed here. The last thing we talked about was Six Flags. We are done with Six Flags. Mm-hmm. It was definitely an experience in a good way. I originally never wanted to do like theme park shit. But then I did Universal Studios, and that was a lot of fun. Just being able to dress up in those different characters and the very stylized characters designed for the theme.
Yeah.
And then doing this one was definitely, I would say, more challenging because I was booked to be one of the character performers, which is something I never thought I would do. Something I thought was quote unquote beneath me because being a character artist, meaning performer, you're not exactly showing your face. You're kind of behind a mask, but I had a lot of fun doing it because I didn't have to smile the whole goddamn time, and I just got to take pictures, dance, and I got a lot more attention than the rest of the girls that were just regular, like,
did not want the attention.
Regular outfits and face paint. I just for context, I was dressed up as a neon kind of gorilla kind of thing because the theme was like a neon jungle. I forgot the name.
Picture here.
Yeah,
the electric jungle.
Yeah, but that was definitely an experience. I honestly would not want to do it again as a character performer because it's pretty like. It sucks going in it because doing it the whole night. It's also the summer word. Because it's light in the beginning, but then it gets the sweat. It just accumulates, and then in between the breaks, I take it off, and then it gets it's like putting on a wet shirt after, and then I don't know if you guys are. I don't like that feeling of it, and then later on in the evening, it gets colder, so it's essentially putting on a cold rag on top of you. So it just, that part just feels uncomfortable. I'm being able to move in it was fun. Goof off and be all that stuff in terms of performing was a lot of fun, but it was just more so like that part was kind of sucked, but it was overall a great experience. I mean, the staff was incredible. The cast was great. Shout out to Mark, the creative director of it. He was incredible. Also shout out to the rest of the cast of dancers. And I think one of my favorite parts too was the fact that I got to dance with Max and Lauren in a gig that we booked not through the grapevine.
It's not a direct booking, it was an audition. We all had to book it.
Yeah, it is nice to be able to getting booked through direct bookings is nice because it's convenient. You don't have to deal with any sort of.
You already got the job.
You already got the job. It's through the network, which is great.
Yeah.
You just got to do the job.
Like my Bollywood gigs. So, thanks, Lauren.
And then the other one, this one was like we earned it together.
Yes.
We earned it. It wasn't just
Team Polyjammers
given in a sense. But I think that was like one of my favorite parts because we all got to dance. We essentially just carpooled together whenever we could. And
which was all of it except for that one time it was a Thursday.
Yeah,
because Lauren
had work. Yeah, so it was just nice just to be able to do that all together. But the thing is with that, like they're very strict on professionalism. So I don't know if anyone. I think they might have figured it out towards the end that we were all involved.
I mean, the other girls, like we knew because we were talking about you specifically because like we were waiting on you like for your paperwork to go through. Remember, because yours was delayed and we were talking about you, like like how do you know him? And we were just like, that's our partner.
Oh, you guys had already told him that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, at least like the other dancers.
The other dancers, yeah.
Yeah, the other dancer. We just told him like, yeah, that's our partner.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came into the whole thing late because my paperwork. No, my background check came in hella late.
Yeah.
To the point like they were done with rehearsals, so I was playing catch up. So fortunately,
You didn't have to learn too much.
It only took me a day to learn it, and then we just had to figure it out formations.
And choreo and the choreo for the costume characters was a little easier because of the costumes.
Because we had to be mindful of, because the main thing was that we had to dance big, so that meant simpler moves, because if the moves are too intricate, you wouldn't be able to see it through the costumes anyways.
We had to change it for us too anyway.
And the last thing you want to be is like, in terms of any, like, if you're wearing big clothes in general, you don't want to be drowning in your outfits, or even
you're already drowning in your own sweat.
Yeah, I'm already drowning in my sweat. Fucking destroyed my Fitbit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I was so drenched in my sweat,
and you were dancing hard.
So yeah, and then Mark kept telling me to like chill, like I don't have to dance full out. I'm like, but this is
what you hired.
This is all I know. This is what I train.
I know.
This is how I train. And then all this was just another training session.
Okay,
except
so
it was for 8 hours.
For context, this is how, like, it's not just three 7-minute shows in one night, and then that's once a week. That doesn't sound like much if you want to look at it that way. But it's also like there's at the very beginning, we're literally out by the gates, like the entrance gates, just literally welcoming in these, like, these kids. It's grad night. So it wasn't like it's not like a public event. So it's grad night. It's like a private ticketed event for these schools that signed up for it. And like, we're welcoming in these kids. We're like freestyling. We're like, you guys, like the costume characters were all like, just interacting with the kids, having fun and blah, blah, blah. So it's that for maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes of doing that. And, like, some kids interact with us, the dancers, but like most of the time they're interacting with you. So we're just, it's me, Lauren, and another dancer, Mel. Hi, Mel. Not our Mel from Catch, different Mel. And we basically use that as our warm up and our stretching, because we don't have time. Because the second we clock it, like by the time we clock in, we're in makeup, we're in our wardrobe, we're trying to stretch,
to get warmed up, yeah.
But also not trying to sweat the makeup off before we could even show our faces.
Yeah.
So it's that. And then we get like, a little bit for a break. And then we're out in the plaza where we're performing, but not yet performing. We're freestyling and interacting with the kids.
Yeah.
We go back in for a break, and then we have our first show.
Yeah.
It's a lot of walking. So honestly, it's a lot of walking.
A lot of walking, a lot of just engagement. I remember one of the nights, which was rough, we interacted and freestyled for 45 minutes. Oh my God. And then we went into the show.
Biggest night.
Yeah. That was big. And the biggest night. And I think that night they also had a camera crew. It was, and then the camera crew that was at our area didn't even bother to stay to watch the whole part, where we interacted with a really group of kids.
Oh yeah, these kids were great.
It would have been great for the commercial, but what that camera crew had instead was actors.
A bunch of 30. Actually, I'm not entirely sure, but they were just a bunch of actors that were supposed to be like high schoolers, because again, it's grad night. High schoolers having fun at grad night, but they don't even show the performance and like the whole point of the theme of grad night. So it's just like going to be like another weird generic sizzle reel for grad night, I guess. Yeah,
and then we were supposed to we were ready for it too. We
made a big deal out of it. Like, okay, so your second run is the one they're going to be filming. We're like, okay,
we gotta better
get it. At least it's not the first one, because I tend to mess up on the first one.
Yeah, no fuck ups.
Yeah,
no gotta be on point choreography.
That was my best friend of the whole gig. I was like, oh, and they weren't here. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was funny.
Yeah, that was.
Any particular part you struggled with throughout the whole experience?
I think for me it was the stage.
Oh God!
Yeah. Because it was small. I get that we've Zantino and like Lauren, our dance captain, they've kind of like worked to kind of redo the choreo to make it safer. for us to be up there because I was up there the whole time. Like I was up on my little platform the whole time. Lauren at least got to go on the big one in the middle. By big one, it wasn't much. The couch is bigger. And yeah, it was this tiny little like square platform that I had to be on, but the original choreography was a lot traveling. And we all saw that because we didn't know what the stage looked like. We didn't know what the performance space would look like until like tech rehearsal. And then we saw that we were like, oh, so no barrel jump. We're supposed to do a barrel.
Oh wow!
Mel did the barrel because she was like at the bottom.
She started off at downstage.
Did she do the barrel? No, that was I think she swapped that for the double.
Oh okay.
It was one of those. But yeah, me and Lauren were like, when we tried the barrel once, Zantino was like, Zantino saw my face like, he was like, okay, maybe no barrel, and then Lauren came up with the turn into the down. I'm like, that one, thank you. But yeah, it was really the stage that like really concerned me a lot, which also probably was throwing me off a little in the beginning. The first few times we were running it, that's why it didn't look like I started forgetting choreo because my head was don't fall. Yeah, and it was also I think there was a whole thing of where the steps were they were like, okay, is it easier here, is it easier there? I'm like, honestly, my issue is just staying up. Which and a couple of runs later, like it started getting comfortable for me, especially because I had to stay up the entire time. But yeah, other than that, like the costume initially wasn't that hot because they didn't install the fur sleeves yet. Yeah, that's the first time we tried it on, it was just like a black thing, like just this whole like black long sleeve, and that was it. And then we were a little concerned because it was at night. All we had are black lights because the whole point is like this neon electric thing.
Yeah, you're supposed to see how the outfits glow and all that.
Yeah, and the costumes weren't entirely finished yet, and we were looking at the video from our tech rehearsals, our dress rehearsals, and you couldn't see us at all.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You couldn't see us on stage at all. Yeah, you saw that. Like you couldn't see us at all. And then Zantino was like speaking to me directly. He was like, "You're doing all these things," and I couldn't see your arms. And then Mark goes, "Oh, they're supposed to have neon sleeves." I was like, "Okay." But still, like it was still a little dark. Like we had to change some of the foot, like the little housey footwork. Yeah. We didn't do that. Me and Lauren didn't do that because you couldn't see your feet.
Dude, that house footwork towards like the last 2-3 performances, I fucking just did not do it.
I mean, it's also not noticeable with your little monkey feet.
Yeah, because there was a part. It was the choreography is heel toe,
and then
I think it's a switch.
Yeah,
and then the toe heel. And I was like, no one's gonna notice that because there's a fucking
no one's looking at our feet.
Barricade kind of thing in front of us that covers our feet, and I have huge character feet, so trying to get those little things is not really going to be noticed. So I just kept it to that. Just like I kept it simple for myself to conserve energy.
Yeah. Because what it was is that Zantino was tasked to choreograph without knowing what everything's going to look like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, so then he was like, well, this is what we have. So we were supposed to do that. Lauren and I didn't just because no one was going to see our feet. Our shoes were black too. So no one's going to see that. So we just ended up doing some arm things because the only thing you can see are arms. So like when I did show Brandon like a video, he was like, which one are you? I'm like, that pair of arms there. That pair of arms is Lauren.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was the first time they did this theme for grad night. So I think we were the guinea pigs,
the test bunnies, test dummies. But I think one of the things that I just had a difficult-ish time dealing with was just driving. I think that's also one of the reasons I never auditioned for, say, a Disney or Six Flags. Or the closest one would probably be Universal. I think we did audition for that a couple of times, but
not me. You and Lauren.
Oh yeah, me and Lauren, and then a couple other people from Temper Tantrum for like some Harry Potter World. I got I got the part for Universal because it was closer. But again, distance, it's about maybe about an hour from here. And then that goes into the whole cost of it. Like, am I earning
To cover
more
gas.
to cover gas? Am I just going up there for gas money?
Yeah.
So, and then I think, yeah, it was an okay return on the time, the just driving up there and back.
Yeah.
But that's also like compound that over like a couple days,
Yeah.
couple nights every. No, I'm sorry, that was Lauren last year, but it's not terrible. Like once a week.
Yeah.
So which was okay. Yeah, I think that was like my main thing.
Because initially you didn't even want to audition.
Yeah,
period.
Yeah, but then I dropped Lauren off, and I actually got to see the show that they did,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cool, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So like the show specifically was their 2024 Fright Fest performance, which was an Alien concert, which was fucking fantastic. Shouts out to Zantino for the choreography and the show. And Mark and the whole rest of the team for lighting it and making it look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally would want to audition and hopefully make the Fright Fest one, because I think the show was dope.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I want to dance, get paid, obviously. The difference now then would be we would be performing potentially
3
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
4 nights.
I think 4 nights, because it's for Fright Fest.
Yeah, and it's weekends.
And it's and
starting
Halloween
September?
season starts in September all the way to maybe
November.
mid-November. So upside is
I think their last show was the beginning of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the upside is that it's consistent pay. It's a seasonal gig, and it's also consistent in the sense you're performing weekly. You get the consistent pay, which is the dream for any working dancer.
Mhm.
Like, because I do not fit the stereotypical, the archetypal like look for a touring dancer. I'm not 5'9". I'm not super buff. I think I'm in pretty good shape. But but relative to what they usually look for touring dancers, I don't think I fit the bill. I think there was a recent audition. Actually,
I think we talked about it. Yeah.
No, I didn't talk about it for this one,
Oh,
but
okay.
because we're talking about Khalid, but there's the other one I did, but we'll talk about that after. But yeah, so but being able to find work like this, I'd say it's a blessing. And even the other small gigs that come our way, the Bollywood gig you guys get, another gig that I'm going to be doing in July is a flash mob.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on Paramount Studios.
Mhm.
So it's not like, even then, touring dancers, like once the tour is done, they got to go back to the grind. So the upside, I honestly I think the most consistent job. I'm going in several tangents here.
Theme park.
The most consistent type of work probably would be either theme park stuff, or if you have a residency in Vegas, like because there's an audition.
Jabberwockies?
Yeah, Jabberwockies. There's an audition happening for that.
Mhm.
I'm not about to drive to Vegas for that. I don't even want to move to Vegas.
Oh God.
There's also another one for The Awakening. I think that's another Cirque show.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were looking for hip hop.
Yeah, I'm not gonna audition for that. I don't want to move to Vegas.
That's Vegas.
But the thing is, the thing with that is that you're booked for the whole year.
Yeah.
And I saw what you'll get paid for the year. It's 6 figures.
I think your friend Jashawn, when he was doing AGT.
Yeah, he was part of the America's Got Talent show
in Vegas.
Yeah.
And he was booked for however long there was.
However many shows they're doing.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is you do the same show probably 3 to 4 times every single day.
Yeah.
I think maybe more. Depending.
Yeah.
And then I think, if I remember correctly, Monday is probably your only day off.
Yeah.
I think because that's when they have the least amount of tourists.
Fair. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's when Carnival was when we did it over there.
Okay, so it's like during dancers' off days they do Carnival. That makes sense.
Friday there's a whole bunch of tourists, and that's where you got to do the shows. But I think that those would be the more consistent one. I mean, that's just on dancing. There's also the side of choreography, being a choreographer in terms of going teaching at camps, teaching at studios, but that's a whole different thing.
Choreographing for a wedding, choreographing for quinces, all
or
that.
being another one in terms of being a dancer is if you find a dance company that is nonprofit. They have the funding, the grants, and all that stuff.
Party motivation is also kind of a consistent pay thing.
Yeah,
someone's always turning 13.
Oh yeah, like so. Just to touch on the whole dance company thing, the main thing that I've noticed right now is in terms of dance companies specifically for hip hop dancers. There's not a whole lot, but I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. Anyone who's in the same space as us. A lot of it happens to be ballet, contemporary, jazz, that more
the classical
stuff. So, and going back to party motivation, we were doing that for a bit because it was easy work.
You don't have to do anything.
Like if depending on the gig and which entertainment company, you can get some gigs $150 for the gig, which is and for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Or if again depending on the entertainment company, you might get $300 for the gig, and you do that for every weekend. That's about $1,200. That's rent for some, and that's just on the weekends.
Yeah.
And that's if you say yes.
Yeah.
Because they usually try to book this maybe a couple weeks out. So if it happens to work on your schedule. So it's literally easy money. But the thing is, it's not exactly working on your craft. It's not exactly specifically on these party motivation gigs. It might
a lot
work.
Of crowd engagement.
A lot of crowd engagement. Not all of it would be usable for your demo reel. Maybe like a little bit of it. Yeah. So, and then going back to performing at say a residency, you're doing the same show every day, however many times, and then it gets to a point where it's just routine. You're doing the same thing over again. Nothing exactly creatively different. So you might have that creative itch.
That's probably why Carnival Vegas would be like nice for performers, because it's a break from their, like, if they have a residency, like let's say they've been doing AGT for like weeks on weeks, and then like, someone's like, hey, do you want to dance for my piece at Carnival? Yes, please.
Yeah, just something.
Let me do something else.
Yeah, and also like from what I saw, the Vegas dance community is pretty like tight knit, and then it's cool seeing the dancers from the other residencies coming through to support, just to hang out, and then a lot of them were from also like people that from the LA scene that transplanted and moved over to Vegas.
Hi, Liz.
So, yeah. So there's, again, that's a very long-winded way, a long tangent of just like, yeah, this is the type of work that I'm cool with accepting, and I like it, and it's fun. It's fun.
It is fun.
And then it's paid, and yeah, what do you call it? And then I would like to do the Fright Fest one because the routine is cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully
it's probably going to be different.
Yeah, the routine one. Yeah, if it's a new like just because it's like I like Zantino's choreography because I can really sit well with it because it reminds me of the style of dance I'd grown up. So Zantino's the choreographer from them, and then I got to work with him at Universal Studios for the Super Nintendo Land opening. But yeah, I just want to be a part of it. So and then I think it just goes back into like dance is a hustle, and once you find consistency, you'll find like a consistent job. You'll find that it's just like a job, just like everything else. It just so happens to be something you are good at. Yeah. Not and if it's also something that you're good at and you like, that's the big bonus, because a lot of people think that you have to find your passion first, then you go all in trying to be good at it. That might work. But I'd say the more practical way is find something that you're good at and find a way to be passionate about it. Because you can love something, like the thing that you hesitated about is like you love something, but once you start getting paid for it and it becomes a job, you might not love it anymore. Yeah. You lose the passion for that because you get good at it, but now you're meeting deadlines, client critiques. Yep. The voice of your enjoyment is virtually put in the back burner. So it's a tricky thing trying to monetize and make a job out of your passion versus get paid for something you're good at, and then let your passion can just be your passion because you can still enjoy it.
I think there was a time where the burnout started to hit me,
during
During
the
while we were still doing
Six
not
Flags?
Six Flags, I think, because after we lift at the gym, like we
Mm.
dance, like we run the pieces a little bit, but like we dance.
Yeah.
Like especially if it's not like the day of a performance, we session like as just part of the training. I think at some point, I think you were there, and I like, yeah, obviously you were there, but I was just like, do I have to? Like I started feeling it, and then like I sat there, I'm like, oh my god, am I hating it? And then I like sat with it even more. I'm like, no, I'm just burnt out. Cause then like I wasn't like I still pushed myself to do it, but I was just like, God, I'm not moving. Like I can see myself in the mirror. I'm like, I hate this. Why? Why do I hate everything that I'm doing right now? Like I don't like how this looks. Like I'm usually good at this. Like why?
Oh, yeah.
And I realized like, oh, I'm burnt out. And then it's just something that like, I mean, the job doesn't give a shit if you're burnt out. So like it's just one of those. I'm like, I just have to push, man. Like I have to push, but also I have to like remind myself that this is something that I love to do anyway. And then the whole like, oh, it's a job thing may affect it a little bit, but like at the same time, like this is still something that I enjoy so much anyway. To the point that I'm like, okay, I'm able that it allowed me to push past the burnout, so I can keep doing it and actually still enjoy it, even though like after like I think as soon as we get home, I'm just like, I need to stop moving. I would like to not move.
Yeah, I have this mentality like especially like I think for me, like if this is something I want to do, this is the quote unquote job. What would the job be?
Mhm.
Like because I take example of like professional athletes, like they spend even on their off days just doing recovery, or even they have days when they're not playing, they're
Mhm.
just doing work on some basic things. So the even though we're not training intensely like some other people that are doing like 3 to 6 hours, like like we do like we lift for like I've shared this plenty of times, but just we lift for about 45 minutes. We changed the
So
regimen. It's probably an hour now, and then
The warm up takes up so much time.
the warm up is about 20 minutes for me
Mhm.
because I do a lot of myofascial release and range of motion, and then
I also do some of my warm ups like before I do a thing.
yeah, so I think that's a much smarter way than me trying to bulk everything
Yeah.
together. And then after that, we do about 30 minutes to 45 minutes max of just dancing, but it's more so sessioning. But it depends on the approach that day. Sometimes it's a pure technique day. Sometimes it's experimental day. Sometimes it's just straight up get your rounds in, freestyle, let your body guide you kind of day. And we do 45 seconds each.
And if we have a gig, we run the piece.
Yeah. And if you have a gig, we just practice the choreography.
Run the
And in
set.
between the lifting and the dancing, we take about a 10 to 15 minute break. We eat a
Protein bar, whatever. Anything with like a carb
something
or a
with
sugar.
Yeah, like a banana or a fruit
Fruit
snacks. Yeah, fruit snacks have been amazing.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Mark.
that's usually been helpful. But yeah, because then to me it's I don't know the way I think about it sometimes is like I think about my mom. Like if she's tired, she's got a job to do. When she was raising me and my brother and my siblings and I growing up and going to school, it didn't. She was probably fucking
Tired
burnt
did not
out
exist.
times 100. But she had, fucking. She needed to put food on the table, pay bills, take care of 4 kids
Who had hobbies?
who had very expensive hobbies. We were on the dance team, and then so she had to work. Tired was a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, breaks were a privilege.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I feel like this is a kind of the immigrant kind of mindset of like, be like this is the job, like, and so like, and this is a privilege for me to be able to do this,
Yeah.
and I want to do it like to the best of my ability,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I've become more so attached to. I love the process
Mm-hmm.
of it. Like okay, and there are days where I absolutely think all my rounds are trash, where my body feels heavy. I don't want to move, but it's more so like it's the fleeting emotion of it, because I forgot where it was. I think it was some random meme about like there's once your body, if your body loves something, even regardless how you feel emotionally, once you go through the motions, those emotions of why you enjoy it come back.
Mm.
Like there are days I don't want to lift, but
Do it anyway.
when we do it anyways, I feel good because it's something I like doing. So going through the motions, even if it's like a whack ass like workout, like just going, like I feel good that I just did it because it's doing the hard thing regardless of the feeling is the thing that helps you obviously grow. But I forgot there's this center in the brain. I think Andrew Huberman did a study on Dave Goggins' thing. There's a part of the brain that grows bigger every time you do something that you don't want to do. And Dave Goggins has that part of the brain was huge because
he just
does shit he does not want to do, but he does it.
Yeah.
Like who wants to run 10 miles a day?
Oh God, nobody.
Who wants to do 1,000 push-ups, but just like,
nobody.
Nah, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
So, and then that's not that extreme, but that's how I kind of view like the training aspect of it. With obviously exceptions, family holidays. My son was here. We didn't go to the gym today. Obviously rest days.
This is a rest day essentially.
When our recovery, especially on the days that were hard for like Six Flags, I think Saturdays became. It's still usually, but we did our recovery protocol. We just didn't work out. We just hot tub
and we sleep in
pool water, and then we slept a lot. I think that the main thing was the before and after. Like I wanted to the nights before I wanted to make sure I had at least a decent 6 to 8 hours. I wanted to make sure that I did not wake up in the middle of my REM, because that would fuck me up.
Also going back to like bad workout days, it's like as a person with a uterus, there's this thing called a luteal phase and also my period that follows right after. So there will be days that like I just don't want to do it and I do feel weaker. And then sometimes the weights just won't move. I just have to drop or, do less sets or, treat my working weight as a power set. And that's all it is a blow to the ego. And that's it. Like, it's not a big deal. It literally is not a big deal. There's no downside to dropping at least for a week.
Yeah.
But all it is a blow to the ego. And sometimes I feel bad for myself for doing that. I'm like, because I get to see I get to see the numbers from like the week before, and then I have to like drop it. I'm like, oh. But there are days I think like during my period where I wake up, you're like, want to go to the gym? My brain says no, but I'm like, I'm already getting dressed. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. Literally in the car, don't want to go. Going to the gym. I hate this place. And then revenge PR. Revenge PR. I do most of my PRs when I don't want to be there. Because it's just like, fuck it, I'm already here. Just, I think doing this gig was really more not just a test of my ability as a dancer, because I was like at the job, so obviously I was good enough for it, but it's the endurance. Because then I had an idea of it seeing Lauren do Fright Fest. I was like, oh shit, so this is what I have to do. And then, but then again, this is like it's Lauren. Like, she's been doing this for ages. Like, she did not take a 15-year break. She never stopped. So like, yeah, obviously she's gonna have a little bit more endurance than I will. Way more endurance than I. So will you, because neither of you have stopped. And so I'm just gonna be like, I knew that this was gonna be like a test of my endurance, but at the same time, I had to find a balance of like pushing past the tired, but also not pushing so hard I crash and can't do the next gig. Especially because there was a gig that like overlapped. Like we had the Bollywood gig that overlapped. And Bollywood is cardio.
Weekend. Yeah.
Bollywood is cardio. So I think when we did the shoot at Chinatown on Memorial Day, Laura and I had a rehearsal.
Yes.
Right after.
Yes.
So we were like, I think Spillers came up to me. He's like, you want to get this one? I was like, no, normally I would. And then I was like, and then obviously Lauren was like going round after round after round. But I'm like, it's Lauren. Because I was like, yeah, no, Lauren have a rehearsal later. But she's Lauren. She'll be fine. Yeah. I'm not there yet. I will admit defeat and sit here and rest. and then go to this rehearsal. And like, because we were doing, that was the first rehearsal. We had the little like glowy wings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to be on point for this.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. What was it? Was it that same? We had. That was a rough night. Goddamn! Like the weekend of the volley performance, we had the
we had
performance at Six Flags.
Yeah, oh god.
And then we slept a bit.
That was the following weekend.
And then we also had. Was it a back to back to back? Was it a back to back? Six Flags, and
we
then
had
we
Six Flags, and then we had the brunch the following morning
with the because there's a new company that we're with, and then we had a brunch, and then we also had
our show,
and then you guys had the show.
Yeah.
God, you guys must have been exhausted.
Yeah. Okay. So just really quick about that. So it was me, Lauren, and actually another dancer that did Six Flags with us. That Lauren was basically the one recruiting dancers for this Bollywood gig at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, like there was a bunch of temper tantrum dancers that we asked, they couldn't do it. Some other friends of Lauren's from like Core, one of them could. And then like Pam, obviously, and then there's Monica from
Winterfest.
Like we just need one more because sometimes they don't care how many dancers they get, but I think for this one they really care because they probably had like formations and like already like costumes in mind.
Yeah.
So they were like, we need 6. So we was missing one, and then they got Ileana, who did Six Flags with us, was down to do it. So it was the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Literally. Like we would run the set every now and then in the dressing room, but me, Lauren, and Ileana, we literally took naps. We were like laying down taking naps. And then sometimes, because the previous shows we've done with them, we would watch the other act. We would watch the kids because this is a recital. And so we'd watch the kids, watch the other performers, and like support everyone, and like, sit with, whoever we invited to come. So we would have been able to sit with you and Kat.
Yeah.
We did not. Because like even the choreographers that hired us were like, you didn't want to watch with your friends? You were like, no, we could have just stayed back here. I mean, me, Lauren, and Pam definitely knew that we could go out there and watch. Like me and Lauren and Ileana just chose to take naps, and we just didn't tell anyone that they could go out there and watch with their people. Because Urban's husband was there too.
Yeah,
Aldo was there.
Urban's one of the performers for the Bollywood. Yeah, it was. That's essentially how it was. Like even during the Six Flags or a lot of the stuff,
Lord.
like we just in between as much as we could, we just rested.
Yeah,
like even I like say in between the shows for Six Flags was like
just laying down,
quiet, rest. Like okay, there's moments obviously we're goofing off and having fun. There's plenty of that. But also like we would just sit in quiet and just lie down. I think there's at one point majority of the people were just sleeping for like within the 45 minutes we have
for the very last
day. So and then people were just doing whatever we can to recover the body, like just to take care of ourselves,
recover the body and mind
because we're going from like very loud environment and interacting with people, high touch in terms of like you're there, and then having to be in character and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's very quiet.
I like quiet.
Yeah. So
my neurodivergence was on fire.
Yeah.
With I think what was harder was the like little freestyle things that we would do, because then there was a lot of like person to person interaction with like these kids, and you just never know what kind of kid you're gonna get.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I am very surprised that these kids are polite to a point for teenagers. Because when we were teenagers, we were not that polite.
At least my we were kind of like
assholes.
Goofballs, so.
But yeah, like I think that was more exhausting than the dancing itself. That's why I did a lot of like pacing and walking around and like talking to you, like interacting with Laura and with Mel, with like with Ileana and Lupin. Though I'm just like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like I was like talking to these kids or like interacting with these kids, even though it's just like 3 seconds of them just saying hi. Some kid asked me, like, can you take our picture? I'm like, I'm literally wearing gloves. I can't.
Yeah, like I think some of my favorite moments were when the kids when people were just taking a picture with us.
Yeah.
Because I would not be dancing, I'd be like, people don't know I'm dying behind that mask.
You're lucky.
Yeah, so I'm like, you guys have to
We have to
maintain like
smile.
a facade of like, I'm having the greatest time. I'm like, oof.
I think the hats were kind of hiding a little bit, but it's definitely our mouths are still visible. So like we at least still have to be like,
Yeah.
"Hmm."
But yeah, I would still say I would still do it again. It was a lot of fun, great experiences. But
I wouldn't mind trying a costume character.
okay, you can do it. You can do it.
I just want to see because like
I enjoyed it. It was fun. I would not do it again.
yeah. Also,
I mean,
it just kind of
obviously, like if I was there, I'm not gonna like say no.
Yeah.
If I'm hired, because fucking it's
I wouldn't
the
mind
goal
it.
is to be a working dancer, but
Yeah.
I don't want to like be on But if I had the choice at this moment, no. But if I'm booked and they ask me to, I'm like, sure.
I don't even know. Like, I didn't know what role I booked for. I didn't know what role I booked when I got the call. They were like, "Yeah, okay, sure. Like, you're one of the dancers." And then when I got there for that one rehearsal, that wasn't really a rehearsal. Because they were just like, "Okay, we're not entirely sure who's going to be the monkeys yet or who's going to be the dancer." I'm like, "Oh, so there was a chance that I was going to be." I thought that was like, in my head, I'm like, "There's a chance." That I was going to do that. And then like as soon as we did rehearsals, when we started actual rehearsals, they were just like, okay, so then he was like, okay, dancers. And I'm like, okay, cool. But now that I'm like, I kind of don't mind wearing a mask so I don't have to smile at children.
Oh man. Yeah.
Because also like Urban works at Disney. She's a dancer. And she was like, you'd be a good height for a Daisy. I'm like, I get to be in a costume and just be sassy, but I don't have to smile at anyone. Hell yeah. But the costume might be really hot and shared.
Yeah.
It's shared. Those costumes are shared.
Especially during doing shows in the summer.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one they're going to be doing they're going to be having auditions for is
Fright Fest.
Fright Fest should be happening within a couple of weeks.
Patiently waiting.
So definitely going to audition for that. It's going to be definitely more dance focused, as far as I know.
Yeah.
It might actually. I don't want to give away what Mark has in mind for the vision of that because he shared that in confidence with us.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see if I fit the bill for what he's looking for in that.
If Zantino's choreographing, you do.
Yeah, but if it's again, it's one of those things. It's business. If I don't get booked for it, it's because I don't fit the bill. In terms of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like overall we left a good impression, and I definitely would love to work with them again because the energy was great. Yeah, it's good vibes all around.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like it's not just the dance; it's who you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it sucks to go to the thing you love doing, then what's the point? Why even do it?
Yeah.
Obviously, the reason might also just be bills.
Yes.
Which is also valid.
Yes.
But yeah, having good coworkers and people to
it's a good bonus.
Is a bonus. So, and yeah, doing this on top of TT, on top of Vision Paradox, on top of Cha-Cha, which is a completely new subsidiary company.
That's who we had brunch with, their leadership.
Yeah, so which we'll talk about in another podcast. But there's a whole bunch of things that we're juggling that are up in the air and trying to balance, like the professional dance life and then the business life and then obviously the personal lives it just feels like every day is fast.
Yes.
That every day is something.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but it's also nice to have days like this where it's kind of chill.
Yeah. You're just hanging out with your son.
What did we do? We watched
we saw Elio.
We watched Elio. We hung out with Joey and watched we looked at their first edition Japanese Pokemon cards. One of the cards I think is I don't know if it's accurately priced, but people are auctioning it around $35,000.
Yes.
So that's a down payment for some, or even a used car.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was kind of cool to see that.
Yeah. You can pay for a whole car in cash.
Yeah. But he needs to get it like verified to see if it's mint condition, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,